Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Tech Server Global. Hope you guys doing well. Today we are going to discuss about Kubernetes health props. So in Kubernetes props, there are three things: liveness versus readiness versus startup. So let's start with this topic. In Kubernetes, props props are used to check the health of containers to ensure the application is available and functioning correctly. So, what exactly probing is referred to? So, basically, probing refer to performing the periodic check on the containers to ensure that they are running, responsive, and ready to receive traffic. So, let's start with different health props. So, basically, there are three types of health props. First one is liveness prop, readiness, and startup. So, if we talk about liveness, it detects if the application is still running, and if somehow it's not, then it try to restart the container. Second thing is readiness prop. Check if the application is ready to accept traffic. Does not restart the container. It ensure your application pod is ready to serve the request. So basically, in readiness prop, it actually check the pod whether is it compatible to accept the new request or not. But intentionally, it will not trying to restart the container. It just ensure that your application pod is ready to serve the request. And the third one is startup prop, used for slow starting applications like legacy system and gives them extra time before liveness kicks in. So these are the three health props which are we can manage in Kubernetes using pod YAML file. So let's apply one by one and validate the behavior of all these things. First, this is something a common YAML for the deployment, which include Nginx latest image and it include one service with container port. Okay, so let me copy. Okay, here you can see my kind cluster is up and running. I'm going to create one YAML file. Let's say Nginx deployment. Before start, let me check if any to get PO no pod is running. Okay, so let me nginx deployment dot yaml. Okay, let me open in VS Code as well. Okay, so simple. There is some deployment defined with a name called nginx prop demo. Replica is one, match label nginx demo containers and so this is simple a YAML file which includes deployment, which contain some selectors for match the label and within the container and apply one container port with called port 80. Okay, so simple. If I try to run this particular YAML file, it simply create one deployment and one container because there is one only one replica and with expose port called port 80. Okay, now we went for the first prop which is known as liveness prop. So let me copy this, and this is something a child content for the container. So I need to add under container. Let me check this. Or else, yes, this is something. Let me apply and validate. So before apply, let me brief about this segment. So this is basically Liveness prop. It's trying to get HTTP get with path. Sorry, it's trying to get HTTP path on slash because we know HTTP Nginx is something work on port 80. Path is slash, so it's basically trying to get path on slash, and port number is 80. Initial delay in second, period second, and failure threshold. So let's discuss about these three parameters. So first one is HTTP GET. Platform HTTP GET request to check container health. It's basically trying to get whether the check container is in healthy state or not. Second one is path. So as we know, when we run the container, it can create one file called index.html under slash usr html, okay, under default path. So it is basically a check whether the file is exist or not. Then the port number, as we know, container nginx is work with default port number 80. Initial delay, wait for 15 seconds after the container start before running the first liveness up prop, and useful to let the app start. So it actually wait for 15 seconds after container being start. Period seconds, run liveness prop every 10 seconds. It will trying to check every 10 seconds whether the this all three characteristics are being compatible or not. Third one is failure threshold. If prop fail three consecutive times, Kubernetes restart the container. So if trying to check for three times and if it's not there, it's trying to restart the container. Okay. So let me apply and validate the liveness prop. The first one, let me copy. Okay, I'm just sorry. Nginx liveness deployment dot, yeah. Okay, I just applied, and I open another tab for the same machine, kubectl cat pl. So there is no pod is up and running. I'm just run this command, kubectl hyphen po pod hyphen l list app equal to nginx hyphen demo. I just add uh, that app equal to nginx equal to demo label for the nginx container. So it will list out only the nginx demo label pod only, and with hyphen w, that means it keep watch that particular process. So here there is no result for this command. Now try to apply this, kubectl apply hyphen f nginx. Okay, it's created. So here you can see containers are creating and it's running. Okay, now let me try to log in into this particular pod and make some changes with the existing file, kubectl exec hyphen it hyphen hyphen bash. So I'm just logged in within the container slash usr share nginx html. So here you can see this is the default html page. I'm just trying to rename it mv index.html index.html underscore one. Okay, this is something. Let me. So I just renamed the default index html page. Now let's see what's the behavior of this. Let's wait for some time. Here you can see the message indicate this pod is restarted for before 2 seconds, and I was in within the pod, and I just renamed that particular index page, right? And somehow after some moment I'm automatically exited from the pod. So what happened? Linus prop has validated this scenario, and what Liveness prop is actually doing that detect if the application is still running and restart the container if it fails. So in this scenario, it automatically restart my pod because of the issue. So this is what the Liveness prop. Now let me click Control C, and I am just remove the kubectl, delete -f and Nginx Liveness prop. So there is no such pod with Nginx demo. Okay. Now next segment is Readiness prop. So instead of Liveness, I'm just copying Readiness prop and how it works. So I'm first applying this. After applying, I'm validating whether the pod is up and running or not. It shows the ready. To simulate again, we'll rename that index, and after check, we'll check the status again and validate whether the status is being changed or not. Okay. So let's check readiness, because readiness prop is something check if the application is ready to accept or not, and it does not restart the container. Basically, likewise in liveness prop, it will not supposed to be restart the container. It will just ensure whether the pod is running or ready or not. Okay, so let's apply readiness. Copy this, and I'm supposed to be changed in. Okay, let me apply. Hopefully there is no some indentation issue. Kubectl apply -f apply -f nginx. Before this, I'm just keep that part. Okay, so simply I just put kubectl get pod hyphen w. Now we'll apply it. There's not expected key. There is some issue with line number 21. As I mentioned, there is some issue with indentation. Okay, so pod is somehow running. Okay, now it's container pod is running, and if you can check the status, it's running. Okay, now kubectl get pod. I'm just trying to log in kubectl exec -it -bash, and again I'm just navigate to same path user share local in user next html mv index.html. Okay, okay, before entering just keep this. Now keep watch this. So here the state would be changed from ready to not ready, right? And it does not somehow restarting your pod It's simply change the state of readiness from readiness to not ready, right? And if I just check with this, it simply check the HTTP get path, port number, initial delay 5 second, period threshold, period seconds, and failure threshold. So this thing we can define with the readiness prop. Now simply if I again rename, let's wait for ready. Okay, it's running now. Instead of 0, it's went to 1. So this is something called readiness prop. And the last one is startup prop. So what basically startup prop how it works is used to slow starting application like legacy system and gives them some extra time before liveness kicks in. Okay, so some if there is an application will actually take much time for to up and running, for those application we can use startup prop. Okay, startup prop will where initial delay is 0, periodic 5, and failure. So you should see the crash of after 60 seconds because of the prop failure. Okay, because here what we do, it will automatically sleep after 70 seconds. Here we just add one command called sh-c 70. After 70 nginx went to restart it. Okay, so let me copy this and let's see. Before that I need to delete this deployment kubectl. Okay, and let's say nginx prop.yaml. I'm copying this. Okay, okay, there is no such code. Now let me apply kubectl apply -f nginx prod.yaml. Okay, let's see. Sorry, apply. Okay, now see container creating running. It wait for some seconds, around 60 seconds. We have to wait for some 60 seconds. Okay, meantime we can also do a kubectl get po. It's basically running. Let's check the status. Keep it describe for this. Here you can see startup defined with the failure. Here you can see the status. Startup prop failed in dial connection. Connection refused. 55 seconds ago. So after every 60 seconds, it's automatically been restarted. 38 seconds. Let's wait for some more time, because intentionally we just define that after 70 seconds it automatically stop the nginx and restart. Okay, it seems 62, 66. Let's wait for some more time. 81, 84. Let me check the description tutorial. Now here you can see it was restarted before 92 second, and somehow suddenly it will restart at 3 second. I mean after some time, because hence we define that after some moment the nginx will restart it within the container. So it's after certain time it actually failed to validate the status. So here this kind of scenarios will apply with the live application, depend on the application and the requirement. Summary: if we talk about all three scenarios, startup is basically check the initial boot, wait before liveness start, and slow and legacy app. Liveness ongoing, restart the container and app crash thing, and readiness or traffic, remove from the service endpoint and load balancer routing. So these are the three things which actually define with the prop, and all prop are actually used for different scenarios. Startup is something for legacy apps. When app is crashed continuously, then we can applying liveness, and readiness is something applying with load balancer and routing. Hopefully you have get such idea about all three props, and hope you like this video. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day. Thank you so much.